Hello, my name is Lindsay Ladd, and for this project I have chosen to demonstrate a comprehension literacy strategy. I have put together a music history lesson for grades 9 through 12. In my lesson, we will be discussing classical composers including Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert, among many more. This lesson aligns with the Missouri Grade Level Expectations Music Standard HC1D grades 9 through 12, discuss musical figures and their role as composers, performers, or innovators. For my specific comprehension strategy, I have chosen the textual dimension strategy of charting. Charting is a helpful tool that helps students summarize key ideas and visually sense the interrelationships between these ideas in the text. I believe that charting is an extremely effective comprehension strategy. Charting allows for the breakdown of big topics. For example, I will be playing a video that I made that contains short biographies of composers of the classical era. With the chart I have provided for them, students are able to break down aspects of each composer into an easier way for them to comprehend. This allows them to see similarities and differences, dates or events, pros and cons, also among other information. Charting can be an extremely effective tool because teachers can use these charts to make sure students are learning the specific information that they want them to learn instead of just an overview. It is also a great way to help students retain information. Plus, they are able to pull the charts back out to reference if they need it for a test or another assessment. Students will also appreciate this strategy because some students like to organize information neatly, and they learn well by recognizing the patterns presented on the chart.
All right, good morning, class. How are you today? Wonderful. All right, so today we are going to continue our discussion over classical composers. Now, we've talked about a few before, and I have put together a video of short composer biographies. You're going to take your worksheet that you have in front of you, and you are going to fill out, can I borrow yours? Thank you. You're going to fill out what year they were born, year they died, where they were born. You're going to list 2 famous works, and then an interesting fact. I'm going to do the first one for you.
The first composer we will be discussing today is Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart was born January 27, 1756 in Salzburg, Austria, and he died December 5, 1791. Mozart played the piano and the violin and started composing at the age of 5. He even played for European royalty. He composed more than 600 works during his lifetime, among them being Requiem, The Magic Flute, Don Giovanni, and Symphony No. 40.
All right, so which composer were we talking about? Mozart, that's right. So, according to the video, I heard that he died in January 27th, 1756. So I put that in the first column. The year that he died was December 5th, 1791. And he was born in Salzburg, Austria. Two of his famous works were Requiem, Don Giovanni. And an interesting fact was that he played for European royalty. Does that make sense how you're going to fill out your chart? Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to listen to the next video, and then we're going to do the next one together.
Another notable composer of the classical era was Ludwig van Beethoven. He was born in December of 1770 in Bonn, Germany, 26th of 1827. Beethoven also played piano and studied with the noted Joseph Haydn. He was almost completely deaf in the last decade of his life, but he continued composing. He wrote 9 symphonies, 32 piano sonatas, 1 opera, 5 piano concerto, and many more chamber works, among them being Symphony No. 9, Ode to Joy, Release, and Moonlight Sonata.
All right. So which composer did we talk about in the video this time?
Beethoven,
Very good. And what year was he born?
1770.
Awesome. When did he die?
March 26, 1827.
All right. The next column. Where was he born?
Germany.
Uh-huh. What were 2 of his most famous works?
Symphony No. 9
Mm-hmm.
and Ode to Joy.
That's right. And what was an interesting fact? What'd you hear?
He was almost completely deaf.
That's right. So for the next composers, you are going to watch these short videos and then fill them out by yourself. And at the end, we're going to get in a group and we are going to compare our answers. All right, here's the next one.
Franz Schubert is the next composer we will be discussing. Schubert was born January 31st, 1797 in Vienna, and he died November 19th of 1828. He played the piano and the violin and wrote over 600 secular vocal works. He moved back home with his father after studying with a musician for a while to become a school teacher. Eventually, he died of typhoid fever at age 31. Throughout his life, he composed many notable pieces, among them being the Trout Quintet, Winterreise, Fierabras, Rosamunde, and Die Schöne Malerin.
Finish up that one. Make sure you're filling out your chart. Okay. Ready for the next one? Let's go.
Joseph Haydn is another composer of the classical era. Joseph Haydn was born March 31st, 1732 in Austria. He died May 31st in 1809. He played the harpsichord and the violin and sang with the choir boys when he was a young boy. Later in life, he worked for the Esterhazy family. Haydn composed 108 symphonies, 83 string quartets, 45 piano trios, 62 piano sonatas, 14 masses, and 26 operas, among those being the Surprise Symphony, the London Symphony, Symphonies No. 98 and 102.
Alright, give you another minute to fill out your charts. Make sure you're filling them out completely. You will reference these when we have our test. Alright, go ahead and do the next one.
Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, or C.P.E. Bach, as he is best known as, will be the composer we will discuss next. C.P.E. Bach was born March 8, 1714 in Germany and died December 14th of 1788. He is the son of the famous Johann Sebastian Bach, and he is one of the 4 Bach children to become professional musicians. He played the harpsichord and wrote over 30 sonatas and concert pieces for the harpsichord and the clavichord, among them being the Berlin Portraits, the Prussian Sonatas, and the Leichte Sonatas.
Okay, I'll give you another minute and then we're going to discuss your chart. Alright, let's go over them together. Alright. So who was the next composer you had after Beethoven?
Schubert.
Schubert. Beethoven.
Schubert.
Schubert. And what year was he born?
1796.
And when did he die?
1828.
Alright, where was he born? Awesome. What's two of his famous works?
Rosalinda.
Yep. What's an interesting fact about him?
He played violin.
That's right. And then after that, which was your next composer?
Haydn.
Everybody have him next?
Yes.
Alright, what year was he born?
1732.
Alright, when did he die?
1809.
Where was he born?
Austria.
What were two of his most famous works?
London Symphony. Surprise.
What's an interesting fact about him?
He wrote 26 operas.
And the last composer?
C.P.E. Bach.
When was he born?
1741.
And when did he die?
1788.
Where was he born?
Germany.
What were two of his most famous works?
Russian sonatas.
Everybody get the second one? The Berlin Pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why we check these. And what's an interesting fact about C.P.E. Bach?
He was one of 4 Bach children to become professional musicians.
That's right. So now I want you to take your charts and put them away. That way you can use them for the test coming up. As you have seen from the various slides previous, my students were able to break down aspects of each composer that I wanted them to learn about through the use of the chart I made. With the chart, they were able to take the information learned from the video and organize it in such a way where they can make connections between the composers learned. To evaluate the charting strategy, I would give my students a quiz over the composers they filled out information about on their chart. I feel like this is the best way to assess both the students and the strategy we use throughout the lesson. This would prove whether or not they absorbed the information that we discussed both in class and through their charts. I do not consider the charting strategy to be a standalone assignment. I believe it would be more effective if I were to assign students some readings about each composer prior to watching the video that I had made and filling out the chart. Overall, I believe charting to be an extremely effective comprehension tool, mostly because it allows students to break down information into little parts that makes it easier for them to absorb. Thank you for watching.